Hey guys, welcome to my new video. This one's going to take off where the last one stopped at, and basically what I want to show you is that what I'm claiming is that this southwest Indian Ridge is an image of the process that's responsible for creating our planet. And the way I show this and prove it is by taking this image here of what looks to be like a spinning vortex and show you that it's related to all the images on our planet. It's also a theme too of a flipping around. But let me just show you, let me just recap what I showed you in the last video, and then I'm going to show you something even more amazing, because there's people will call some things like this like a coincidence, but the problem is that how many times can I show you that this area is related to surface features before it's no longer a coincidence? In the last video, I took the southwest Indian Ridge end here, and I showed you that it's a reoccurring pattern of this image right here. And you could tell by, you can see that this is shaped kind of like a triangle with a rounded edge. And the same thing goes to here. You got this right here, and then you got a point. And then I showed you how this was a ghost image of this by bringing it in and simply lining up the tips here. Right there. See, right here is where I'm concerned about. Let me bring it in. You can see that they're the same length, same width, and then the vortex shape kind of goes right through the dead bullseye of this circular pattern right here, because that's spinning around it. Look how I bring it in again. But it doesn't just match there, it also matches the arch right here as I bring it in. You could just tell that these are similar features. Okay, I made a copy here on the left that has no color in it, and it's been like it's like a negative of the image to help bring out the lines when I overlay them. And like I said before, this is an image. These are images of the creation of the planet and possibly its growth. So this isn't what made the planet. This is just an image of the process that created the planet. This is like a vortex, and this stuff is like the turbulence around it. Now I want to show you again. Zoom in. Here's this tip, and then this tip right here, and then you got this and this. You can tell that these areas are related. When I bring it in, this process is moving through, and all this turbulence around it is a product of it. You can see that, let me dim it out. You can see that this vortex shape, when I move it in, see how it has the same shape as this? It fits. And not only that, you got this circular thing here, and you can see that when I bring that in, it lines up there. This is obviously, these are staggered because this is spinning. Look again how it fits. All the way up until where you lose the point right here. But it also fits down here. But here's the thing. This obviously is arched because this is flipping around. So the other thing is this is moving through, and you can see how this can, let me undim it. Okay, so lines up there, see it here, but it also lines up again. Look. See how you got this little notch right here? And then this is spinning. You can see that it's all coming out of this vortex. You can see that this Madagascar has a tip, and it's got also a diagonal line through the tip because this is the result of spinning. Something spun and then pulled apart. But look at even down here. As I bring this in, you can see that that reverse J hook also is fitting in here. These are all related. Okay, so I wanted to show you what this looks like when I rotate it, but I want to show you again as I bring this in to look at some of these features on Africa. Let's see if I can do it. Oh yeah. You could tell that this is related. The colorations here are related to the features underneath. And then you got your J hook here, and it's lining up again because this is moving through in all directions. But I wanted to show you what happens when I rotate this, because this J hook is obviously needs to be rotated to match. So okay, like that, you can still see that things still line up, especially with the vortex. You can see that this J hook actually rotates more to fit the features of this notch right here. So see how it's getting closer? You can tell that this turbulence is related to this turbulence there. But now what's interesting is this vortex shape right here. Look how it still matches even down in here. On an interesting side note, I wanted to show you how the islands next to the Marianas Trench match up with these grooves of that vortex. And then I'm going to come back to this. What I want to show you is that there's these islands that run along the Marianas Trench here. And you can see that they're the same distance apart as these lines on the vortex. See, look. See how they match? Let me show you a close-up shot. Okay, so here's a close-up shot. You got the islands right here. And you can clearly see that they're the same distance apart once they're lined up correctly like that. See? See how they match up? It's because I believe that these lines are where the Birkeland currents touch one another and create compression points, I guess. And as it's spinning, this is what creates hot spots where islands form. See? Look at that. It's like matching a fingerprint up. It matches exactly. See? Up close. You can see that they're related. Just like that, see? Okay, back to the image to before. I wanted to show you how this vortex matches these features also here. And then if I bring it over, it matches the Marianas Trench. You could tell that these are related. And it still matches the islands here. because this is rotating in an arch. And then our J hook and Madagascar even still fits in here. And the thing about this is you can see that Africa's fitting in here too. Again with this feature right here. But it's getting distorted because of the curvature of the planet, and that's when I have to get straight on shots for accuracy. But look at these other features too, seem to be making more sense. Okay, I'm going to show you something else about this to prove that these are images of the Earth's creation. And just by looking at what I showed you here and the Southwest Indian Ridge, if you look at this image next to this, you can tell that that vortex had flipped and spun out. And it's as easy to prove by showing you that this matches this once it's aligned correctly, because remember, it twisted and flipped out. You can even see it in the image if you stare at it long enough. You can tell that this is a ghost image of this, but it's the turbulence here suggests that it has spun around and flipped out. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so here's that image right here, and then here's the image that we've been working with all along. And remember, I showed you that this vortex, look how it fits, and this ghost image here with the point. Well, let me take this out and show you this tip and this. This is just to start it off so that we can be on the same page. You can see how they fit together. I always think of this guy as a guy right here, and this is his head for some reason. He's upside down, his shoulders, his head. But look, once I line it up correctly, not only does it match here, but it matches down in here. And then you got the arched here. See, like that? You could tell that this is turbulence around it. Just sometimes it takes a couple times to get it. So as I move it in, you can see that it's lining up down here even. But what's trippy is that this is rotating all the way down to the hook here, the reverse J. But this also fits like this again. And it even fits in here. That's how I originally noticed this, was that this looked like a ghost image of this, and when I put them together, this lines up. See, it lines up as it comes in. It's almost like a giant wave right here, frozen in the moment. But you see how they match? It keeps matching as it comes in. You can tell that this spinning here, this tip, whoops, see how it fits? This might even be an evolutionary process here, that this, let me clear this out. This might be a smaller version of this. That's what I mean, that these might be images of the planet increasing in size too, because things line up as I move them down, you know. And that's another coincidence. Take a look again. As I bring it in, and see it lines up right there. you got this arch, or I don't know what to call that, but it's rounded. See how they, and you even got the lines that match up over and over again, see? And then the turbulence, the swirling right here, and then it rotates. Rotated it, and then look. You could tell that I think this is going to rotate and flip and match up, but I'm looking at these rounded areas. You could tell that this is the flipping around. You got this arch, but that's just this is just a little side note. This is probably something I'm going to go into. You could see that this slid through here. It spins around, it comes into here, but that's going to be in another video because obviously that's really complicated to show. I have to get a lot of different still shots and I got to move them around. What I want to show you is another coincidence, and you'll see that here I have that feature, and then I have this feature. Remember how it lines up? But then what I do is I rotate both images, so you can see that this is now up here and this is now up here too. See, I want to show you that another strange coincidence is not only does it match from this side of the planet, but the whole thing matches this other area too. Look. Look as it comes in. You can see that this matches all the way down, and this is a ridge. These are opposite sides of the planet and they're matching up again. But I rotate the things again. See, I rotate this to here, and now I've rotated out of view, and I did the same thing here. You can see that, for instance, here's Antarctica here, Antarctica here, and Antarctica here. It's there, the whole things are moving together. So now let me take that same image and line them up again, and look how they match all the way down, but now they match all the way here. Look, you can see that this scalloping here is obviously the result of this spinning. I think these scallops look like Birkeland currents because Birkeland currents do that. They look like braids, and you can see the scalloping here, and you can see that it matches here. But not only does it match there, this obviously matches here too. The same size, the same width, and if I spin it around, it's going to match again. So you got the tip. Here's where it gets interesting. Just like in the other image, I said it spins and flips around. And I want to show you what happens when I do that with this image here. Okay, so now I spun it and flipped it around just like the other image on the other side of the Pacific Ocean or plate, and lo and behold, here's another coincidence. You can see that this matches this clearing right here, and you can see that this also matches North America. The same features that match on the other side of the planet now match on this side, because I've made a claim that this is an image of the process that created the planet, and therefore it's going to match all the surface features, and it does match all the surface features. You can see that this is related to here. You can see that this obviously rotates in and becomes Central America, and then you have the clearing up here, but this is rotating too, so you got to remember that and if I flip this around, it's gonna match again because it's spinning through here. it's corkscrewing through. Look at the, as I bring it in, you can see this turbulence starts to match the terrain even. And you can tell that Yellowstone Park is related to this. Okay, I haven't really talked much about this. This is a point of spinning and flipping also. And it's this spinning and flipping that created Yellowstone. That's what I'm claiming. You don't have to believe me. But what I'm claiming is that Yellowstone Park is the residual energy of this vortex shape of spinning and flipping around, and that's what this is right here. Because this is related to this too, but that's another complicated video, and I don't want to overcomplicate everything. You could see how look the California Basin features magically fit. And you've got this clearing here that matches the California Basin. But that's for another video. I want to get back to what I was showing you before. See, you got to look at the whole thing. See, I think what the problem is when I show this, sometimes people are looking at different areas than what I'm looking at, or we're not all looking at all the same thing. But see how it all fits in? You could tell that this is turbulence, this is spinning. This J-hook obviously means that this vortex follows this and then flips around. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to rotate this to show you. And then also there's going to be a more complicated video. So I don't know how far I can go on this, but when I've already worked this without recording it. When I bring Africa in here, you can tell that the mineralization and the surface features of Africa are definitely related to these areas and this vortex. As a matter of fact, I guess before I get too far, if you're to follow this ridge and go up to Africa, you can see that there is another image right here that doesn't seem to fit Africa. What happens when I line these two up? Like so. Here's that vortex, and here's the tip of here's this part of Africa that doesn't look like the rest of Africa. And simply following, here's where that vortex shape is. If I simply follow this welding, what looks like a weld and a ridge, you could tell that it comes to this part where it flips around. But so if I follow that ridge, well, how come, if this is a coincidence, why does this line up again with Africa and the features below it? I mean below this image on Africa. Look at this, all these markings here. You got what is obviously peaks of strange mountains and whatever, but you can see that they're related to the vortex. The tip right here, you could tell that this flips around. Look at how the features match below. This disturbance. When I move it this way, you can see it matches on this side. And then the thing about this is if I flip it, this is the result of spinning, and then it's going to flip around. So it's going to match multiple ways. And here it is flipped. And you can see again, it's matching. You can tell that these features here on Africa are the result of this spinning around. Look at the tip here. And then you saw how when I flipped it around, it matched again. But like I said, this is complicated because I can also show you that this is related to the Red Sea when I flip it around. but I'll have to show that later because I don't want to get too buried with stuff. But look again, see the same length as this feature on Africa as this vortex shaped ridge out that's the Southwest Indian Ridge. And I told you, I've been telling you all along that this will fit all features around the planet once you line them up correctly. And this is just another example of that. The other thing I wanted to show you is that as this lines up here, you can tell that the tip of Africa is related to this right here. If this was to be spinning through. And it gets, what I'm showing you here for matching is actually barely scratching the surface to how well this will match the mineralization of Africa and the different areas that you could see. The strange markings on Africa, you could see it looks like banding. Like banding that you would see on Saturn or Jupiter. So it makes me wonder if these images were actually done when the planet was half gas and molten. I mean, it kind of explains it, because I think the hardest thing about understanding this is that we're trying to picture this with the way the Earth is solid now. I'm thinking that this could have possibly been like a process of converting gas into matter, and that's why it looks so fluid and it matches so well. And because of this gas kind of theory, it makes me think of the electric universe theory, and where they say that brown dwarf stars are planet makers and life creators. And it makes me wonder that maybe the process we're seeing here is a conversion of Saturn's gas being compressed into a planet. Because just like the electric universe theory pointed out, Earth shares an axial tilt that matches Saturn, which kind of means that they're related. The same thing with Mars. The three planets match the same axis tilt. So it's not hard for me to think that maybe our planet was created in Saturn by a vortex that compressed the gases of Saturn into molten, material, or converted it. Maybe it converts atoms or parts of atoms into matter, into elements. I'm not sure, but I can tell you one thing's fact: these things align, and when they align, they show a story of the creation of our planet. And I have a lot more to show you guys, but these videos overwhelm me, and because there's a lot of complicated stuff that I can't show you because I don't know how to articulate it to you in a way that it's just too complicated for me until I figure out something better. So anyways, thanks for watching my video, and please wait for the next video because this is getting interesting. For some reason, I am finding new alignments that I could never see before for some reason, and they're starting to put a story together in my head that I can't explain to you. It's just going to take a little bit of time, but I'm confident that I'm going to show you guys something that science has either missed or just ignored. Thanks for watching.